Welcome everyone to Kellenberg Robotics' first building video using Fusion 360. From the intro video, you downloaded Fusion 360 for your software, created an account, or use your Kellenberg account to get the free version, and you are now greeted with this home screen. You have 3 default projects on top, and I happen to have 2 other private projects that I started for myself in the past. You want to actually click New Project and start a Kellenberg Robotics design project. You name it whatever you want, I named it this way. In the description, you're going to find a link to a folder that has all VEX parts in a Fusion 360 format. You want to download that to a file directory, and then you're going to extract it from the folder wherever you would like. You want to replicate all of the folders that are found inside of that zip folder, and then you're going to upload the files found in each folder. You might want to pause the video, as this will take probably around an hour, depending on how fast your Fusion 360 will load in all of the new files. I want to start off in this video with the introduction and basics to the understanding of how to use this software that is Fusion 360. This is on a 3D plane, and this is not only used for VEX Robotics, but it's also used for professional companies. So in this video, we're going to prep the parts to be used in VEX projects for the future. Let's work our way into the structure. We click on C channel 3 wide and scroll all the way down to 1x3 by 1x35. In the lab, the prepped parts that are pre-bought in a kit tend to be in 5-hole intervals. So that would be 35-hole, 30-hole, 25-hole, 20-hole. But in this set, you are given every single hole. To open up the part project itself, you just double left click. But this is not your project. This is so we can create a sketch to help you prep this part. So when you're creating joints, you joint it to the very middle of each part. However, as you can see here, the only points that are showing up are the corner points of each hole. Now this may be a new layout for you. How do you navigate your way around this 3D plane? Well, the simple fix is just to use the cube. Once you feel comfortable, you just orbit on the cube. You can snap to a certain plane. Scrolling up will go out, scrolling down goes in, and hitting select to select planes, select points, and select lines. This can also be found using the bottom shortcut keys, and pan is to free move in that one direction. Let's go and create our sketch. Now, if you were to joint something, you would not joint it on the inside, you would joint it on the outside, which is the backside in this case. So let's scroll out and pan our way over to this hole right here. What we want to do is create a sketch so that we can have a hole in the center. So we're going to choose our plane. You click Create Sketch and click on the plane you want. We want it to be on this plane because that's where the holes are. And we want to create a point. So you click under Create Point, and you're going to find the middle of 2 perpendicular lines. So this is the middle when it has a triangle, and this is the middle when it has a triangle. So drag it over and click the point. Then what you want to do is select the point. By clicking select, then select the point. It highlights itself blue when you have it highlighted. And what you want to do is create a rectangular pattern. So we want it to go in the opposite direction. So we're going to go -1 inch in this direction, because the distance between each hole is 1/2 inch, and we want 3 holes. Then we're going to put it, we have 35 holes going in the downwards direction, so we're going to have -17. Because there's 35 holes but 34 spaces, it's going to be 17 inches, but in the negative direction because it's going down. If we scroll out and hit pan, just to double check yourself, make sure everything matches up and lines up, and as you can see, it does end where it needs to be. You're going to hit the rectangular pattern slide again by hitting the plane, and then you're going to hit OK. Then you're going to hit Finish Sketch. So now you have one plane with circular holes that you can use to joint each part together. Let's try and do it on another plane. So we want it to be on the outside. So you create a new sketch, highlight the plane that you want it to be on, create a point. You're going to do the same thing. Find the center here, find it in the middle, click select, highlight that one, create a rectangular pattern, and we want this point to be 35, and 17. And you have your set of midpoints. So you go back to here and click OK, finish the sketch. And you do it one final time on the other side. What you want to do is Control S, and I guess you can either label this center points or however you want it to go. It will create a new version, and that will be the most recent version that will be used. You also want to do this for other parts, such as, let's take a look at wheels, for example. I did this actually already, but what you're going to do is going to find the midpoint of a plane. So it's not going to be the exact same because on a C channel you want it to be a pattern, but let's say for this one, you're going to find the center of the circle. So all you're going to really want to do is, I already did it, but you're going to create a sketch, find a point, and on this it's actually going to tell you the center. But for the 4-inch wheel that is not omnidirectional, you're going to want to click on the center plane I already have here. Whichever one pops up for you, this one popped up for me here, this one may pop up for you as well. And when you create a sketch for a point, you will find that it will give you that center point after creating that sketch. You want to be able to save. Another important thing to use under hardware bearings, the bearing block is an important thing when you try and connect axles to wheels or motors, and you want to also select the plane. You want to select this plane and find the center points by clicking points, and they will be given to you as well. If you happen to run into, let's say the point is marked, it will be a black dot and it will show through the project. That's a little bit annoying, so you can turn that off, finish the sketch, and every time you hover over it, you're still able to see that center point. For the future projects, let's say I am working with some parts, pause the video and make sure you refer back to this video to try and find the center points when you have to join things together, because it's much easier to create the sketch in the part itself than in the project and create the sketch, because here it remembers the sketch for all of your projects, but there it only remembers it for that project. And let's say I want to create a new project to start off my design. Well, you're going to go back, you're going to have an untitled, and you're not able to do anything until you actually create a file. So let's call this the chassis test. You can even make a new folder for it, but I'm just going to create a file right inside of my design folder. What I want to do is use the structure C channel that I just shared with you guys. You don't actually double click, you left click and drag it in, and that will create the part inside of a new project. You'll be greeted with this, which is a fully highlighted, movable part. Now, if you accidentally click off of it or click OK, don't worry. All you have to do is left click twice on this again, and you're able to move this freely. In order to actually toggle with it again, you have to click M, and you will be able to change the distance, change the angle, create copy and capture position. Let's say I want to create a copy. I just click that, paste, and you're able to drag it away. One thing you want to do is break the link. Alright, let's break another link. This is useful for when you're going to compare joints and put them together. And let's say I want to join these two pieces together. You go under Assemble, J for join, and you're going to click, let's say I want to join this one with this one, and it's going to automatically join them together. I want to flip this and rotate it 90 degrees. So flip is to flip it from one way to another. I want to flip it back. And you can either drag the angle or change the angle from here under the angle option. I wouldn't bother adding in screws because it takes way too much time and you're just on the design process. You know that you're going to be adding those screws anyway. Don't forget that every time you have a competition, it is supposed to be inside of an 18 by 18 by 18 inch cube. So that's all for today's video. Your assignment is literally just to practice and see and get comfortable in this software, as well as download all the parts. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.